Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a collaboration with Kim over at Girl on Her Phone. We decided to get together and do a collab to show you our pantries. You know, we both like to be stocked up. You know, we both cook a pretty decent amount, even though we cook very differently, and that's okay. We have a lot of differences, but we have a lot of similarities. And that one big similarity is that we like to be stocked up. We like to have food on hand in case of emergencies, in case of anything. It never hurts to be a little bit prepared. So we decided we would show you our pantries and how we stock up, what we do to stock up. You're gonna see two very different pantries, I am sure, and that's okay. It doesn't matter how you stock up or what you stock up with, as long as it fits your family. Someone once told me, store what you eat and eat what you store. Meaning, do not stock up on things that your family's not gonna eat. You know, if you think, oh, I'm gonna buy all these canned goods and I'm gonna buy all this, if your family doesn't eat it, there is no point in stocking up on it. And on that same breath, eat what you store. Don't hoard. Go through your stockpile, use the stuff in your stockpile. That is what it is there for. Turn it over. You can't store stuff for 10, 20, 30 years. Well, some stuff you actually can, but we'll talk about that. But no matter what you do to prepare, no matter how you decide to stock your pantry, the most important thing is to stock it for your family. Stock it with what you will eat. Stock it with what you will need. Eat what you store what you eat, or vice versa. Anyway, so we are going to show you our pantries and our freezers today, and I am going to start in my kitchen with my working pantry. I only have this one closet. I do not have a lot of space in my tiny little kitchen, and that's okay. It comes down to organization. It also comes down to, for my working pantry, what I use on a daily or even a weekly basis. I am not going to store stuff in here that I only use in the holidays, or that I only use, you know, maybe once a month. That's going to go in my overflow pantry in my basement. I am blessed to have a basement where I can store that. Some people do not. But you can store stuff anywhere. I have seen people store stuff in under the bed boxes, like extra flour and stuff like that, and slide it under the bed. If you have an extra bedroom, if you have an extra closet, you can store things anywhere. So right now we're gonna get started on this pantry. I'm gonna show you what I have in here and how I organize it. We will start up on the top shelf. Because I have nowhere else to store it, this is where I store my blender. So I have my blender base, and in this bin is, I have the Ninja that has the food processor and the blender. And it also has smoothie cups. So all those accessories are in this bin. It's not put back together very nicely right now. But that is up there because honestly, I use it enough to not have it in the basement. So I needed to find a place for it. And right now that's the only place. I want to rearrange my cabinets, but we'll see. Behind that are the little bins from Dollar Tree that I have different tea bags in. I don't access them very much because I pull some out and make like a little sampler pack all the time to keep with my other teas. So that's kind of a long-term storage for tea bags up there. Kind of out of the way, nothing I could get to easily, so it's easier to put those up there. The second shelf is a lot of dry goods. It's stuff I use all the time. I've got a big thing of rice, my big thing of sugar, my big thing of flour. Then I have smaller jars of brown sugar, powdered sugar, self-rising flour. I have my dent corn. This is to use in my mill to make cornmeal. I have cocoa. I have beef gelatin. I use that to make marshmallows. I have my arrowroot powder for when I thicken, and my chicken soup mix, and just a few other things back there. A small thing of kamut berries, things like that. That is my second shelf, basically a baking shelf. For the next shelf is a pull-out shelf. I love that. Very handy. And on this shelf, I have small jars, half-gallon jars of wheat berries, my soft white wheat berries. These are for pastries, pancakes, things like that. My hard white wheat is for bread. I have big buckets. You'll see those downstairs. I don't need to keep a big bucket up here. This is more than enough to get through a couple loaves of bread and much easier to manage. I have a jar of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Oh, this went upside down. A jar that says sourdough crackers, but right now we are so into those Simple Mills almond crackers. That's what's in there. I've got my jar of mixed nuts, my jar of pretzels, my jar of popcorn, assorted nuts, mini chocolate chips, raisins, and Jimmy's. Then I have these two stacking bins. This top one has all of our electrolyte powders in it, and also some specialty nut butters, and a bag of Siete chips. The bottom of this is actually for my babies. It is stuff that they brought with them that is shelf stable that they just haven't eaten yet. So I just keep it down there. There's some instant oatmeal. There's some pretzels. There's some little fruit cups. So that's all the baby stuff, not ours. So that is that drawer. And this is enough. Like, I don't need a big thing of almonds up here. That's downstairs in the fridge. This is enough just to be a working pantry. If I have to fill it once a week, that's fine. Sometimes more, sometimes less. And my next pull-out drawer is a lot of oils and vinegars. Back here, we've got our avocado oil, our avocado spray. We've got coconut oil, palm fruit shortening for greasing pans, some specialty oils and vinegars. These are Doug's Heritage O's. We don't really access them much, so I keep them back there. I always have, I need to make some, a big jar of granola because we go through that a lot. Adam's protein powder sits up here, along with our dog and cat treats, things for bread baking, our oats, and our breadcrumbs. Our next is our coffee and tea, the most important shelf. So we've got, this salt basket is completely filled with different teas. Believe it or not, I do know what's in there. This basket is filled with a bunch of loose teas. And then I've got a couple other loose teas right here. I just put the names on them. And then this is all the guys' coffee that they're working with right now. We have more down the basement, but we only do a couple flavors at a time. So there is that drawer. Heading down the basement, I have my onions, sweet potatoes, and potato storage right in my basement way. It's easy to access them. They're used pretty much on the daily, so I can just grab them. I also keep here a lot of my small appliances, my Instant Pot, my air fryer. There's a hand mixer in here, all my essential oils, French fry cutter, and immersion blender. So they are very handy right there for me because these are things that are used very often. So this, my friends, is what I call the overflow or the basement pantry. We keep things down here that are extras or that we don't need to access all the time. Let's talk about what's down here. So starting on these shelves, these are all the things I have canned mostly this summer. I have chicken broth and beef broth all up there, plus in the corner. These are soups I canned. I canned some chicken noodle soup and also a bunch of tomato soup. And over here are all the green beans from our garden that I've canned up. I also froze some too. And then I just have 4 jars of water. I made those when I got my canner because that's what they tell you to do, to practice with water. And I figured, you know what? I had the extra jars. Let me just keep them just in case we ever need some water. Down on these shelves are our fruits. These are all of my peaches and pears that I have canned. I have not gotten to my applesauce yet, so you won't see any of that. And then here is a bunch of salsa. We've got mild tomato salsa, we've got peach salsa, and we've got hot salsa. We've got bread and butter pickles and corn salsa. We've got sweet pickle relish and zucchini relish. We've got ketchup. I've got several jars of ketchup that we canned up. And then these are all the jams and jellies. So they are all of my canning projects. On the next shelf down is overflow dry goods. These are all of my different kinds of flours. I have rice flour, semolina flour, kamut flour, rye flour, bread flour, and einkorn flour. Next to that are my grains, my einkorn grains that I grind myself, my spelt grains, my rye berries, my hard red berries, dent corn, barley, kamut, things like that are in these jars. Next to those is a lot of baking things. I've got cornstarch, I've got baking powder, I've got baking soda, I've got cocoa, coconut sugar, sucanat sugar, and some dehydrated marshmallows back there. In my bins here are baking things, jimmies, sanding sugar, cupcake liners, things that I use when I bake either for the bakery or just for holidays. And then some overflow here, some maraschino cherries, extra vanilla, coconut flakes. In my 2-gallon buckets, I have brown sugar, and I also have 10x sugar. I have smaller versions upstairs. On the bottom shelf, we've got coffee. Now, I know this looks like a crazy amount of coffee, and it is. One of my guys' favorite coffee companies, Black Rifle Coffee Company, was running a special. It was buy one, get one free, so they stocked up while they had the opportunity. And also buried back here are some of my teas, some extra electrolyte powder, and I have a box full of tea. In this bin, I have some mixes, some vegetable mix, some béarnaise mix. Doesn't hurt to have those on hand in case you ever need them. I have a few various canned goods here. I've got some kidney beans, lots of green chilies, some sweetened condensed milk, pumpkin. These are kind of the fruits, and some veggies there. And then most of my canned goods live in these racks. I love these. These are a new purchase for me. The top, I like to make my own cream of chicken mix, but I'm not going to lie, sometimes convenience is king. So when convenience is king, I look for the best possible, cleanest brand I can find, and that is the Pacific Foods brand. Love this. I've got chicken and I've got mushroom. I buy it by the case from Azure Standard, and it's a really good price, and it's usually in stock. I also have lots and lots of tuna fish, because we do enjoy our tuna fish here, and also some crab meat for dips. And then this whole rack is tomatoes. I've got lots of diced tomatoes, tomato paste, tomato sauce, and stewed tomatoes. And here's a couple extras of tomato puree that just didn't quite fit on there. So trying to keep my canned goods organized and use them first in, first out. Then for my bulk grains, I have 5-gallon food grade buckets with gamma lids. This is a gamma lid. A gamma lid is a lid that fits tightly on the bucket, and then you can just screw the lid right off and on. You do not have to take a lid off and on the bucket. It's just a perfect screw top. Works great and is sealed in there perfectly. So in these buckets, I have steel cut oats. Oh, and I always keep some canning funnels up here to fill jars. I've got rolled oats, white rice, and popcorn. I try to put on the bottom the things I don't have to fill as often. I've got my Redmond's real salt. That is the only salt we use, and we buy it by the 25-pound bag. I've got sugar. I've got 2 buckets of hard white wheat berries. And back when I had mentioned that, oh, there goes the air conditioner on. Sorry if it's loud. Back when I mentioned about storing things for 25 or 30 years, the beautiful thing about wheat berries is they last for 25 or 30 years, whereas flour will go bad. Wheat berries do not. You have at least 25 years with them. So I have 2 buckets of hard wheat because that is what I use the most for bread. I have a bucket of soft wheat, and I also have a bucket of durum back there for pastas. And then I have 2 buckets of all-purpose flour. With a bakery, I go through a lot of flour. This tote is full of extra spices and things like that, that I can refill my spice cabinet upstairs. I will show you that. I meant to show you and I forgot. We go through them pretty quickly. I do buy them in bulk, but we go through them fast enough that they will not go bad or lose their potency. All this down here is vinegar for cleaning and for canning and just for general use. The next shelves, these are kind of I call them our bathroom shelves. We've got razors, we've got dental floss, we've got toothbrushes, things like that. Disinfecting solution for our contacts and all that kind of stuff on that shelf. This bin is our cat food. This is kind of our paper goods and cleaning shelf. We've got toilet paper and paper towels on the top. The next shelf is all our tissues and trash bags. The next shelf is all of our Ziploc bags and our parchment paper, foils, wraps, bags, things like that. The next shelf is cleaning items. There's some magic erasers in here along with some, this is silver polish. And then I've got toilet bowl cleaner that goes pretty far back and dish soap. I also have, we use laundry sheets from Earth Breeze. I'm actually thinking about changing to a different brand. But I do keep some regular laundry detergent on hand because when I do laundry stripping, I use the Tide. That's the only thing we use that for because I'm not real fond of the scent or the chemicals, but sometimes we have to do laundry stripping and that's what works. And I also have some laundry detergents that I got relatively free through couponing that I have when someone needs a donation of household items, things like that. The bottom shelf is our lamp oil, kitty litter, and these are all Doug's ostomy supplies. So hopefully they'll be gone soon. If you follow me, you know. Hopefully, we'll see. And then the last shelving unit, the top, is kind of a little combination of everything. We've got an extra bag of Doug's Heritage O's. I have a bag of Boulder Canyon chips, some pretzels, some Siete chips, a box of cornflakes, and then I have a box of Rice Krispies that someone gave me, I guess, to make Rice Krispie treats. So maybe I'll do that. I have some cream of wheat up there, and I think that is actually empty. Our next shelf has taco shells, our favorite almond crackers. This is kind of like the snack shelf. We've got our nuts. We've got a big bin of Lara bars, and then another bin. These are actually baby snacks that one of the baby mamas gave me to leave here. We've got nuts and applesauce in here. So that's our snack shelf. Then we go down to condiments. We've got our almond butter, peanut butter, which we need some of the Hershey's Simply 5 syrups, maple syrup, mustards, ketchups, liquid aminos, and other taco sauces, lemon juice for making, for canning, vinegars in here, and just some extra stuff that we picked up. Next is pasta and things. We've got our elbow macaroni, our egg noodles, some beans, some quinoa, fun pasta shapes in that basket, some Near East rice pilaf. On the bottom, we have some apple juice and all of our oils, our avocado oil, coconut oil, our big things of olive oil, and some Crisco that is a must when we make pierogies. Once a year, twice a year, it's okay. So that is my overflow pantry. Let me show you our freezers. Well, friends, you saw the pantry. You saw the working pantry and you saw the overflow pantry. Next thing for me to show you is my freezers. But before we show you the chest freezer, I need to organize it. And if you have a chest freezer, you know how hard that is. Everything goes to the bottom. So I was very fortunate. My friends at iSpeckle reached out to me and they wanted to sponsor this part of the video by sending me their freezer organization baskets. They have different sizes, they have different quantities. I chose the set of 4 in the white. Let me tell you, I think this is going to be a game changer. They were also kind enough to give me a discount code for you guys. So that is linked in the description box below. Just go below this video, click on the read more, and all the information will be down in the description box. But let me show you these baskets and let's get to organizing this freezer. The color of my choice, I chose white. They're freezer baskets. They stack on top of each other. They have these awesome little handles that flip so they sit on top of each other and don't fall in. And they are made of metal, so they're not going to crack. So let me tell you, I'm really excited to use these. Before we can organize, we need to sort and clean out. So we took everything out of the freezer, sorted into groups. We put vegetables together, fruits together, all the peppers that we preserved over the summer we put together. Once we had everything in groups, we were able to start putting like items in our new iSpeckle freezer baskets. And let me tell you, it was so easy to grab the baskets and start grouping like items together. I was most impressed when I stacked them inside the freezer. They stacked right on top of each other, took up no room at all, and had pure organization. Here are our 4 baskets stacked up. They fit perfectly. This is a 7 cubic foot chest freezer, and another stack would fit beautifully next to them. So I am really thinking about getting another set because I really like this organization, and I'll show you how I'm keeping it even further organized in a minute with my inventory sheet. So down here now, it's still gonna be a little hot mess because I'm really digging these. I really like them. When I want to get the bottom one off, just like a chest freezer, you have to dig. But now all I have to do is pull this right out with the 2 handles. The next one, if I want to get to the bottom one, much easier than trying to dig through just stuff thrown in there. I'm going to get the rest of this freezer done and I'll show you what it looks like. So here it is, all done. There's my 4 baskets. Then I also had to put my red bin back in. This is one that I had that was not cracked. That's holding all my peppers. If I get another set of these, I'm gonna definitely separate my peppers in there. On the little shelf, I've got some pot stickers and some popsicles and a box of Trader Joe's vegetable nest. Then in the basket that came with the chest freezer, I've got some sourdough English muffins, some yeast under there, some guacamole. This is the Kirkland's little guacamole. Yes, I know fresh is best, but when I want guac toast, I'm not going to be making guac. This is fantastic. So we buy that and then we just toss them in the freezer and then thaw them out when we want them. I also have a bag of pierogies in there too. So, how do I know what's in there and where it is? Good question. Let me show you. So I have, sorry about the shadows, guys. You can see me holding my phone. I have an inventory list, just like I have for a lot of other things. And in the bottom basket, which is basket 1, shredded zucchini, there's 9 of them. When I take one out, I cross it off, just like I do for my meat. Basket 2, chopped celery, chopped peppers. Basket 3, broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Basket 4 has all this in it. And then in the red bin, and then just miscellaneous stuff that I have in there. So there you have it. There is the baskets from iSpeckle. There is what I have in my chest freezer. So let's get looking at my other freezers. Okay, coming over to our stand-up freezer. On the front of the freezer, I have taped our inventory list, so I know what we have. Whoever takes something out has to mark it off on here. Does it always happen? No, it doesn't, but that's okay, as long as I have a good idea of what's left. So how I organize this freezer, the top is poultry. These are all chicken breasts in this bin. These are whole chickens that we raised and processed ourselves. Now, we're down to 3 of them. When we have processing and we have 20 of them, then we use the chest freezer also for that. We try to plan when we're going to do it and have empty room in the freezer. This is just some ground turkey that we were using to make Aria's dog food. I've got my ground beef in this. I've got my steaks and stew beef in this one. In here I have, oh no, this isn't steaks. This is sirloin tips and stew beef in this one. And then this one is all of our steaks. Our green is for seafood. This is salmon and cod, and this generally has shrimp in it, but we're out right now. And then down to the gray. Gray is pork. We've got our pork chops in here, our roasts in here, and all different kind of sausage in there. And right now on the bottom is a lot of tomatoes because I have not gotten to canning those yet. On the door, I've got all of the strawberry concentrate I made to make strawberry lemonade. All our bacon, and then just some things that we have, some sloppy joe meat, some chicken noodle soup, and some spaghetti sauce. So that is our upright, pretty much all meat freezer. We are also very blessed to have an extra refrigerator, and we do use this. This is a lot of overflow. You see, we buy a lot of milk. We go through a lot of milk between cooking a lot, baking a lot, and I make yogurt about every 10 days, and yogurt definitely takes 1/2 gallon. I make a 1/2 gallon at a time. So we buy the Kirkland organic milk, and as you can see, this is not until 11:15, 12:03, and then there's one more down here, 11:15. This shelf, we have all of our Nancy's probiotic sour cream, our cottage cheese, some extra nuts. This drawer has some extra nuts and all of our cheese. This drawer houses butter. The Mother's Choice butter I use for baking for the bakery. The Rumianos we eat. This is what we use for our general eating, as well as the grass-fed butter that's like, I forget the name of it. We buy the Kirkland brand, Kerrygold. And on the bottom is overflow veggies. And we won't even discuss the door because it's all the guys' beer. In the freezer side, once again, I have an inventory list. This is pretty much all fruit with the exception of corn. We did not do corn this year. With everything going on in our lives, we just decided to let that go. But I will be sad in the winter when we're through all of this corn. We've got fruit in here. We've got lots of peaches. We've got lots of raspberries and lots of blueberries. So that is a tiny little freezer, and it works perfectly for our fruit. And this is our spice cabinet upstairs. I know this video got a little bit convoluted, but this is our spice cabinet upstairs. I decant into smaller spice jars because we have a lot of different spices that we use. And on this shelf, I have a little Lazy Susan, and we've got our baking soda, baking powder, all that there. Our salt, cornstarch, vanilla, and vinegar and molasses up there. Different mixes, and by mixes I mean my homemade taco seasoning, my homemade blackened seasoning, my homemade barbecue seasoning, food coloring and extracts, honey in this bin, and rollover spices in this bin, like our popcorn salt, and I think there's like cumin and stuff like that in there. So I try to keep it as organized as possible. I put white board paper here to write notes, but I ended up just putting things on there that we keep. So there you have it. That's our spice cabinet. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this little pantry tour. I hope it gave you maybe some storage ideas, some food for thought about, you know, what you store and how you store it. Like I said, everybody's pantry is going to look different because every family is different, and that's okay. My pantry is not Pinterest worthy. It is not. I watch some videos where, oh my goodness, their pantry probably costs more than my house. And that's okay. It's okay. Take out of the video what will help you and leave behind what won't. We can all learn from each other. And like I said, Kim and I, as good of friends as we are, we're very different people and we cook very different. So I am sure her video is going to look a lot different than mine. And that's okay because it's how we are. So with that, I hope you have some ideas from this. Let me know down below if you keep a stocked pantry, if you keep an overflow pantry, or if you just fly by the seat of your pants, which that's okay too. Whatever works for you, my friends. But thank you so much for watching. I will leave the link to Kim's video down in the description box below. Make sure you click on that. Go check out Kim's video. You will get some great ideas, I am sure. And once again, thank you to iSpeckle for sponsoring the freezer part of this video. The link and the discount code will be down below if it is something you are interested in. I'm definitely going to order another set because I really have been liking them. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, store what you eat what you store, and I will see you all in my next video.